Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Esther. Good afternoon, Isaac. So it's good to see you again for today. I hope you're having a good day because we are going to be having a new lesson. So before we start, let's first have a quick recap. So in our previous discussion, we already talked about the present simple affirmative, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So for today, I'm gonna introduce you to another lesson, which is the present simple negative, as you can see on your screens. So in discussing our lesson on the present simple negative, we are gonna have a listening activity where I am going to read a text, and what you will do is that you will listen very carefully and attentively, so that after I read the text, you are gonna be able to answer my questions. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so maybe you're wondering what is the text all about? So, the title of the text is this: The Difference Between My Mom and Me. Upon hearing the title, what things do you expect to hear about the text or from the text? What do you think are the things that will be mentioned? Um, do you expect to hear something about the mom and the daughter's unique qualities or their physical appearance or their physical characteristics? What do you think? Anyone?
Mm. Mom, I think the text will mention about the things that the mother and daughter like and the things that they don't like.
That could be. That's possible. That's correct, Denise. So, how about Isaac? What do you think?
Ma'am, I think this may be discussed about the difference with my mom and me.
Okay, very good. So, because it is also stated in the title. Very good, Isaac. So, how about you, Esther? What do you think?
Ma'am, I think it would mention about the mom and daughter's favorites, like their favorite food, place, or pastime.
Okay, so that could be as well. That's possible. So, is there anything else? Is there anything that you wanna share about what could be the possible topics that will be discussed in the text?
Oh, ma'am, I think it would be mentioned about their skills or talents or the things they can or can't do.
Okay, that's also possible. So now, thank you all for your response. So now let's find out if the answers that you've given me will be mentioned in the text. So before I start reading, I'm reminding everyone to pay attention and listen very carefully. Because I am, like what I've said earlier, I am going to ask some questions and I will be calling some of you to answer them. One of the questions is this: Which point in time does the text refer to? So I want you to listen to the entire text because you're going to answer this question flashed in your screens only by paying attention to the entire text. So does it refer to the past, or does it talk about the present, or does it refer to the future? And um, I also require each and every one of you to take note of the specific details mentioned in the text. So, for example, if there are any names, any physical characteristics, like for example, the skin color or the color of the hair, or the likes and dislikes or the hobbies. So, I want you to um, take note of those information because you will be needing those to participate in our exercises earlier. So, are my instructions clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm gonna start reading the text. So, prepare your notes and your pens. Okay, I'm gonna start. The difference between my mom and me. My name is Sarah, and I am 13 years old. My mom's name is Kathy, and we are very similar in personality, but we look very different. We both have brown hair. My mom doesn't have curly hair like me. She has long, straight hair. I don't have long hair like she does. My mom has black eyes, but I don't. I have brown eyes. My mom is very tall, but I am not. My mom doesn't have to wear high heels like I do. My mom likes to cook and clean. I don't like to clean. I like to watch TV and play on the computer. My mom doesn't watch TV because she prefers to read. I don't like reading because it hurts my eyes. My mom says I need glasses. She doesn't wear glasses. She wears contact lenses. I also like to sing and dance. My mom doesn't like to sing because she doesn't have a good voice. But she likes to dance salsa with my dad. She also goes to the gym every day. I don't go to the gym because I am too young. I don't worry about exercising because I am always playing outside with my friends. We always ride our bikes together in the summer. My mom doesn't know how to ride a bike though. She can run really fast, but I don't run really fast because I have such small legs. My mom says that I will grow when I get older. My mom and I don't spend a lot of time together because she has to work a lot. I don't mind because I have my dad too. A lot of people think my mom and I are very similar, but I don't think we are alike at all. So that is the end of the text. So I hope you listened very carefully and you took note of the important details mentioned in the text. So were you able to do that, Isaac?
Yes, Paul.
How about you? Thank you. How about you, Esther?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So how about you, Denise?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so keep your notes with you because later on you're gonna need them to answer our exercises later on in our discussion. Now, moving on, I have here two sentences. So, can somebody please read the first sentence?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, please read. Is this Denise?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
I like to watch TV and playing on the computer.
thank you, Denise. How about the second sentence? Esther, can you read the second sentence?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
My mom doesn't watch TV because she prefers to read.
Okay, thank you very much, Denise and Esther. So, do these sentences sound familiar to you? Do you think that you have heard of this sentence, these sentences, earlier or before? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am. This
Yes.
sentence.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
So, Isaac,
Yes, Paul.
does, does these sentences sound familiar to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so why are they familiar to you?
Because the previous when you uh, recite the article, you were mentioned about those sentences.
So that is correct. So these two sentences are actually from the text that I've just read earlier. So I like to watch TV and thing on the computer. And the other one is my mom doesn't watch TV because she prefers to read. Now, what we're gonna do with these sentences is that we're gonna discuss them by pointing out the differences in the structure between these sentences. But before we proceed with that, we should first be familiar about the terminologies that we will be using as we discuss these two sentences to avoid any confusion or to avoid getting lost in in the middle of the discussion. So, we have here these terms. So, the first, if you see a word in our discussion that is labeled with the letter S, that means that that word is our subject. Okay, S means subject. The next one, we have the term infinitive, which is represented by INF. Now, when you see a word labeled by INF, then it means that it is an infinitive. So, have you heard of the word infinitive before in your previous classes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so very good. So just to recall your memory, infinitives are a verb form that is written with the preposition to plus the verb. So, for example, if we are to make the verb run an infinitive, then we just write the preposition to before the verb. So, it will be to run, or to sleep, or to exercise, or to walk, or to swim. So, those are infinitives. The next one, we have the DO, which stands for direct object. So, what is a direct object? So, a direct object is the thing that receives the action of the verb. Have you heard of the terms direct object before? So, okay, for example, we have the sentence, John broke the computer. So the direct object in that sentence is the computer because it is directly affected by the action of the verb, which is broke. John broke the computer. Okay, is that clear, class?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
okay, so we have the subject, infinitive, direct object, and of course the verb. The V stands for the verb, while the stands for the main verb. So let us move on. We also have the term gerund, which is represented by GER or ger. Now, when you see a ger, when you see a word in our discussion that is labeled with the with ger, it means that it is a gerund. Now, what is a gerund? A gerund is simply the ing form of the verb. Like we form the gerund by adding the suffix ing to the verb. For example, if we are to transform the verb play into a gerund, then we are just going to put an ing or attach an ing to the word play. So from play, it would be playing. From exercise, it would be exercising. From watch, it would be watching. So those are gerund. We also have here the term conjunction. Conjunction are words that links the words or phrases or sentences. So they are used to establish connections or within the sentence or within the paragraph. So the example of conjunctions are and because therefore. So those are the examples of conjunction. And of course, one of the important terms that we should familiarize ourselves with is the auxiliary verb. So, particularly in this lesson, in this discussion, we are going to encounter two important auxiliary verbs, especially in discussing the present simple negative. The auxiliary verbs don't and doesn't. So, I think you already noticed how the words don't and doesn't are used in context because of the text that I read earlier, because it contains a lot of don't and doesn't in the whole text. So don't and doesn't are actually made up of two words. So we have do and not for don't, and we have does and not for doesn't. So those are the words that make up those two negative contractions. And lastly, we have our dependent clause. So dependent clauses are clauses that cannot stand alone. So in order for it to be a sensible one, we should attach it to the independent clause. So far, are you following the discussion, especially of these terms? Do you follow, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we are gonna discuss the first sentence. I like to watch TV and playing on the computer. Now, my question is, what do you think is the function of the word I in this sentence? Anyone?
Ma'am, I think,
Yes, Esther?
yeah, yes, I think I is the subject in the sentence.
That is correct. That's very good, Esther. So I is the subject in this sentence. How about the next word? What function does the word like fulfill in the sentence? Anyone?
Ma'am,
Yes, Isaac.
I think like is the verb.
That is correct. So Isaac is correct. Like is the verb in the sentence. Now I want you to look at the subject and the verb once more. We have I and we have like. Isn't it that I is a singular pronoun and like um, is in a verb form that is meant for plural subject? Did you notice that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so some of you might be confused and say that I should be followed by the verb likes with an S because I is a singular noun. However, that construction is actually incorrect because the word I is a first person singular pronoun, which contains a special grammatical case, which means that even though it is singular in nature, we take it still takes a plural verb like this one, I like. So this construction right here on your screens is the correct construction of the sentence. So I and like. Did you follow, guys? Do you follow? Did you understand that?
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, very good. So how about the next word? Earlier, I mentioned about the infinitives, right? So, do you see any infinitive in this sentence?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
To
who
what?
is this? Is this Denise?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you identify the infinitive in the sentence?
I think to watch is the infinitive in the sentence.
That's correct. So, we have to watch as our infinitive in the sentence. However, in this case, the infinitive phrase to watch TV is our um, direct object. So it is an infinitive phrase because it is headed by an infinitive. The infinitive to watch and then followed by the noun TV. Now, how does it become our direct object? So we should remember that direct objects are commonly seen after the verb. And if we look at this illustration, here is our verb like, and then the direct object directly follows the verb. And another thing to note is that direct object receives the action of the verb. Here we have a mental verb, right? The verb like, because it is a mental verb, so it means that the act of liking cannot be physically shown because it is something intrinsic, right? So, regardless if it is a mental or physical verb, the thing that is directly affected by it should always be considered as the direct object. Is that clear?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
so we shall move on to the next. We also have here the conjunction and, as discussed earlier. And lastly, we have the gerund phrase. Can you see the gerund here? The gerund playing. We attach the ing to the verb play. So once again, the subject is I, our verb is like, our direct object is the infinitive phrase to watch TV. We also have a conjunction and of course the gerund phrase playing on the computer. So, my question is, what does this structure remind you of? In our previous discussion, have you seen this kind of structure before?
Yes,
Anyone?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It reminds me of the structure of an affirmative sentence.
Yes, thank you very much, Isaac. So, before we did already discussed the affirmative sentence. So, this structure follows the structure of an affirmative sentence. May I ask, Isaac, in which tense? What is the tense does this sentence have? The
Uh,
present, the past, or the future?
I think this sentence is how to say present.
That is correct. So it is an affirmative sentence in the present tense, or simply the present simple affirmative. So very good. Thank you for participating. So now that was the discussion for the first sentence that I showed you earlier. Now we are going to discuss the second sentence. My mom doesn't watch TV because she prefers to read. Now, what is the subject in this sentence? Anyone?
Ma'am, I think subject is my mom.
Okay, that is correct. So our subject is my mom. Is it singular or plural, Esther?
Ma'am is singular.
That's correct. So we have a singular subject, my mom. How about the next word, the word doesn't? What is the word doesn't? What function does the word doesn't fulfill in the sentence? Anyone?
Ma'am, it functions
Yes?
as an auxiliary verb, I think.
Very good, because earlier we discussed two auxiliary verbs. And in this sentence, we use the auxiliary verb doesn't. Now, as you can see, we have the singular verb mom, my mom, and the auxiliary verb doesn't. How about the word watch? What is what is the word watch? What is the function of the word watch? Is it
Ma'am,
our verb? Yes, Isaac.
watch is main verb.
Very good. So, watch is our main verb in this sentence. But let me ask you, Isaac, is the main verb used in this sentence inflected, or are there any suffixes attached to our main verb, Isaac? Does it have any ed or d or ing or s or es?
Uh,
Denise. Okay, Isaac.
I don't have.
Yes, very good. So it doesn't have any inflection or any suffixes attached to it, which means that our main verb is in its base form. Did you get that, guys? Do you follow?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, so of course we also have our direct object, the word TV, and our dependent clause. So once again, I want you to look at this structure once more. Does it have the same structure with the first sentence that we discussed earlier? What do you think? The structure of the affirmative sentence. Are they the same? Denise, what do you think?
No, ma'am.
No. So what is the main difference? Is there any addition that makes this um structure different from the first one? Denise?
In this sentence, the auxiliary verb doesn't is added to make it clear that the subject doesn't usually do the action, which is watching TV.
That is very good. So we have here the auxiliary verb uh, doesn't, which automatically changes the meaning of the sentence. It makes our sentence a negative sentence. In which tense, Esther? It is
Ma'am,
in the
I
past
think
or present or
it's
future.
present tense.
That is correct. So this is a negative sentence in the present tense, or simply the present simple negative. So did you get that, guys? Do you understand the discussion about the two structures?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So at this point, I want you to get your notes about the get your notes from the text that I read earlier. So we are going to discuss the text. And since you listened attentively and you took down notes, I am expecting that you would be able to answer my questions regarding the text. So my first question is, which point in time does the text refer to? We already have a hint about this, right? Because we discussed two sentences from the text earlier. So, in which point in time does the text refer to? Does it refer to the past, to past happenings or past realities, or present realities or future events? What do you think? Yes, Isaac.
Ma'am, I think it's about the past and the present tense.
That is correct. What do you? Can you repeat that?
Ma'am, in your sentences are including past sentences and present sentences.
Okay, so there may be past form of the verb used in the sentence, but in general, our text refer to the present realities. Um, as you um, as you notice about the text, we use the s form of the verb and the base form of the verbs, which indicates that the actions are happening or are true in the present time. So again, in recalling the information from the text, can you remember? Are there any names mentioned in the text? What do you think, Denise?
Yes, ma'am, there is.
Okay, so what are the names that are mentioned in the text?
The name of the daughter is Sarah and the mom
Okay,
is Kathy.
okay, so the daughter is Sarah and the mom is named Kathy. So, what does the text say about Sarah's hair? Does Sarah have long hair according to the text? Esther?
Yes, ma'am. Uh, no, ma'am. Sarah doesn't have long
Yeah,
hair.
yeah, so Sarah doesn't have long hair. It is mentioned in the text that she doesn't have long hair like her mom does. So thank you, Esther. So, do Sarah and her mom have the same eye color? What do you think? Can you remember? Have you taken note of this information, Denise? What do you
Mm,
think?
no, ma'am. Sarah's
Okay.
eyes are brown while her mom's eyes are black.
That is correct. So they don't have the same eye color. Thank you, Denise. So were you able to take note about this one? Why does Sarah wear high heels and her mom doesn't? What do you think is the reason? Do you remember? Isaac.
Yes, ma'am, I remember. Sarah described her mom, as a very tall woman, which is why she doesn't need to wear high heels. But Sarah is still young and it's probably shorter than her mother. That's why wears high heels.
Okay, so Isaac is correct. So I think it is also mentioned in the text that Sarah is only 13 years old. So she is gonna grow older and taller. So I think in the future she would not need to wear high heels because she would grow taller. So to answer this, Sarah wears high heels because she's short while her mom is described as a very tall woman. That's why she doesn't have to wear high heels. So another question. So what things does Sarah's mom like to do? Have you taken notes about this one? What do you think?
Man, Sarah's
Yes.
mom likes to cook and clean.
Okay. It is mentioned in the text. Very good, Esther. How about you, Denise?
Sarah's mom likes to read.
Yeah, that's also that also that that is also true. How about you, Isaac? What can you say about the things that Sarah's mom likes to do?
Sarah's mom likes to dance. Sarah with her dad.
Yes, it is also mentioned that Sarah's mom likes to dance with Sarah's dad. That is correct. And I think also it was also mentioned that Sarah's mom likes working out because she goes to the gym every day, right? Did you have the same notes about that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so thank you very much. So, how about this one? What are the things that Sarah likes to do but her mom doesn't? Can you give one? Esther?
Um, Sarah likes watching TV, but her mother doesn't because she prefers reading.
That is correct. So, I remember that sentence from the text. Very good, Esther. So, how about you, Denise? What can you say about this one?
Mm, Sarah likes to sing, but her mom doesn't because she doesn't have a good voice.
Very good. How about you, Isaac?
Yes, ma'am. Sarah liked riding bikes, but her mom doesn't because she doesn't know how to ride the bike.
So very good. So thank you for your answers. Um, this one is the answer in this question is actually on the latter part of the text. So if you remember, what does the text say about Sarah's feelings when she can't spend time with her mom? Does it bother her at all? What do you think, Denise?
Mom, I think no, mom, it doesn't bother her.
Yes, that is correct. So it doesn't bother Sarah that she can spend a lot of time with her mom because according to the text, um, her dad spends time with her. And lastly, it was mentioned that even though most people think that Sarah and her mom are alike, Sarah thinks that what? Does Sarah think that she and her mom are similar? Can you remember what does the text say about this one?
Man, I think
Yes, Esther.
Sarah doesn't think that she and her mom are similar.
Okay, that is correct. So Sarah doesn't think that she and her mom are similar. So that's it. So do you have any question? Do you have any confusion about uh, the informations in the text, or do you have any clarification?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, and so since you don't have any question, we are going to proceed with our practice exercises. What you're going to do is that you're going to fill in the blanks with the correct words according to the text that I read earlier. Now, the questions or the sentences in each items are actually from the text that I read. So I assume that your memory of the information from the text are fresh because we just discussed them earlier, right? So what you're gonna do is that you're gonna supply the missing word according to how are they arranged in the text. Is that clear, guys? Do you have any question
Yes,
about
ma'am.
our practice exercise?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so let us proceed. This is the first item. My mom blank have curly hair like me. She has long straight hair. I blank have straight hair like she does. Now, before you start answering, the sentence where the blanks are placed are not the only sentence where you could base your answers from. You could also refer to the surrounding sentences in this item because you can use them as hints or context. Is that clear, guys?
Yes,
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 ma'am.
po.
ma'am.
Okay, so anyone who wants to answer the first item? Denise, can you answer this one?
Yes, ma'am. I will read it first. Po.
Okay.
My mom doesn't have curly hair like me. She has a long straight hair. I don't have straight hair like she does.
Very good, Denise. So as you can see, we the first in the first blank we have the word doesn't because we have the singular subject mom. So it is followed by the word doesn't. Meanwhile, we have the word don't on the second blank because it is preceded by the word I, which has a special grammatical case. So do you understand this one? How did we
Yes,
proceed
ma'am.
with these
Yes, ma'am.
answers?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
so let us proceed to the next one. My mom has black eyes, but I blank. I have brown eyes. What do you think is the answer for this one? Do you have any hints from the sentences? Esther, can you answer this one?
Yes, ma'am. My mom has black eyes, but I don't. I have brown eyes.
Very good. So the answer is don't, because from the previous examples we have I is followed by the auxiliary verb don't. Very good, Esther. How about the next one? My mom is very blank, but I am not. My mom blank have to wear high heels like I do. So in the first blank we have I think we are looking for an adjective that is associated with wearing high heels. What do you think is the answer? Who can answer this one? What
Ma'am,
do you
I
think?
can.
Yes, Isaac. What is your answer?
My answer is tall and doesn't.
Oh, that is correct. So we have here my mom is very tall, but I am not. My mom doesn't have to wear high heels like I do. Because Sarah's mom is very tall, she doesn't have to wear high heels. But Sarah does because um, she's short. So that is why she wears high heels. So does everyone get the correct answer for this one, guys?
Yes, no, ma'am.
Okay, so moving on to the fourth item. I also like to sing and dance. My mom blank like to blank because she doesn't have a good blank. But she likes to blank salsa with my dad. So In these sentences, we have a lot of hints that would help us figure out the missing words. So, who can answer the fourth item? Can you answer this, Denise?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so proceed.
I, okay. I also like to sing and dance. My mom doesn't like to sing because she doesn't have a good voice, but she likes to dance salsa with my dad.
Okay, so Denise is correct. So in the first blank we have doesn't like to sing because she doesn't have a good voice, but she likes to dance salsa with my dad. Very good, Denise. How about this one? The last item for our practice exercise. I blank go to the gym because I am too blank. I don't blank worry or worries about exercising because I am blank playing outside with my friends. What do you think are the missing words in this one? So here in the third blank, you would just have to choose between these two words, worry or worries. So, Esther, can you answer this one?
Yes, ma'am. I
Okay.
think answer is don't and young.
Yes, proceed. Don't and young. How about the remaining words? How about here? What should be the form of our main verb? Should it be worry or should it be worries? What do you think? Denise?
Mom, I think I don't worry.
That is correct. How about the last blank? What do you think is the answer? Because in the sentence, it is stated that um, Sarah and her friends are doing something habitual, which means that they often do that thing. They constantly are doing that thing. So, what should be the word here in the fourth blank? Anyone?
Ma'am, I think the answer should be young because I am young, play outside with my friends.
Okay, so very good. So young is should be placed in the second blank, while in the fourth blank we have the word always. So here are the answers. I don't go to the gym because I am too young. I don't worry about exercising though because I am always playing outside with my friends. So those are the words that are correctly those are the correct words that should be placed on those blanks. So, did you get that? Did you understand our lesson for today? Did you learn from our practice exercises?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
do you have any question so
No,
far?
ma'am.
Ma'am.
Okay, so if you don't have any question, I have a question for you. So, have you been in the similar situation as Sarah? You know, some kind of situation wherein you were asked to share something about yourself, your family background, your likes or dislikes, your hobbies. What do you think? Have you ever been in that kind of situation?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. What kind of situation?
Um,
Can you give me one, Isaac?
yes, ma'am. For me, I like cat, and my mom doesn't. And My mom like dog, and I also like dog.
So okay, so in short, you were in that kind of situation when you are saying something about the things you like and dislike, right? Or the things you do and you can do when you are sharing something about your when you are sharing something about yourself to your friend, right? But um, how about as a student? Do you think that um, you have ever been in a situation wherein you have to tell others about the things you like or your family background? What about when it is the first day of school or first day of class? What do you usually do when it is the first day of class? Anyone?
Ma'am, we introduce ourselves to our
Yes, that is
classmates.
correct. That is correct. So, of course, as students, you introduce yourselves to your new set of classmates, right? And also, teachers as well do that because whenever they are assigned to a new section that they never handled before or in the past, they introduce themselves so that the students would recognize them or would know them. So, for our mini task for today, I want you to imagine that it is the first day of classes. So on a piece of paper, what you will do is that you will write 5 to 8 sentences that will tell your new classmates something about you. It could be your hobbies or your likes and dislikes and your favorites. So I'm giving you 5 minutes to do that. And after that, each of you will read what you have written in front of the class. So is that understood?
Yes, ma'am.
So of
Yes,
course, the
ma'am.
most important thing is that you should be able to use the present simple negative in your work correctly. So is the instruction clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm giving you time um to write your introductions. So your timer starts now. How's your work, guys? Do you need any help or not? Or are you about to finish your work? Denise, are you about to finish your work?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How about you, Isaac? Are you done with your work? Esther.
Yes, ma'am. I'm done.
Okay, very
Yes,
good.
ma'am. Finish.
Oh, you're finished. Okay. How about you, Denise?
Yes, ma'am. I'm finished.
Okay. Okay, so I think we should start with the presentation at this point. So who would want to go first to read what they have written on the paper? Denise, do you want to go first or Isaac?
Ma'am, I'm ready.
Okay, Isaac, go ahead.
Okay, ma'am. For me, uh, I doesn't, I doesn't like the hot weather, but like my mom, my mom doesn't like cat. I don't like rabbit, and my mom like to cook and clean. I don't.
Okay, so very good, Isaac. But I noticed that in your first sentence you used the construction I doesn't, but in the last sentence you use it correctly. You used I don't. So the correct form for that, or the correct structure for that, is the latter structure, which is I don't.
Okay, ma'am, noted.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Isaac. How about you, Esther?
Yes, ma'am. I'm ready.
Okay,
Uh,
proceed.
for me, I like dog, but my mother doesn't like dog. And I like to eat vegetables, but my mother doesn't like eat vegetables. And uh, I like to I like to walk, but my mother doesn't like to walk.
Okay, thank you very much, Esther. You're done. Are you done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. And lastly, we have Denise.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So, I like to go to the beach, but I don't like to get sunburned. My mom doesn't allow me to eat junk foods, and so I often eat vegetable. I'm also a homebody, and I don't like to be in crowd places. I know it doesn't help to my social life, but that's just my preference. Lastly, I don't speak English fluently, so please understand. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much for participating on to our minute task for today. So I hope you learned something. I hope you learned a lot of things from our discussion on the present simple negative. So thank you very much for attending my class. See you all next time. Goodbye.
Bye,
Thank you,
ma'am.
Bye,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Bye bye,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Yes. Stop recording.